Hello there, and welcome back to another Starfield video. So, today is another one of those videos where Crimson kind of rants and raves about paid mods and not working. So, as the title says, we're going to be talking about a specific paid mod, this one, the Raijin Heavy Revolver, that came out a little over, just over 5 months ago, and I covered it when it initially came out. And almost immediately when it came out, there was a few people in my comments were like saying, oh, I heard that it messes with specific guns and it adds penetrator rounds to all different guns. Now, at the time, anyone that was kind of like telling me, I always say, oh, put it in the description in the comment, or put it in the video comments, because hopefully the mod author will see it. Now, I didn't really think much of it, to be honest, until probably about last week when we're talking about weapon mods in the Discord. I'll plug in the Discord there. Here, it's Starfield Anonymous. And someone mentioned that they really like the mod, but it has issues with like making certain parts of guns invisible and adding penetrator rounds. And I was like, that's really strange. That happened when it launched. It's 5 months later. Hasn't it been patched? I also seen a post on Reddit of someone complaining of the same thing. Excuse me. Their weapon was getting replaced, so they couldn't use explosive rounds on their weapons. It would be replaced by penetrator rounds and just wouldn't work. So, cue Crimson jumping in to be like, what the fuck? So this was 300 credits when it came out. It's by 2JB or 2JB. Now, I went and I looked on the website. Normally on the website, you can kind of see when mod authors have done updates. There's been no updates. Mod author basically put it out, was like, GG, game over. And this is another example of, I'm going to show you the issues in a second, but this is kind of another example of why, like, specific paid mods, like, and kind of verified creators, Bethesda needs to be a little bit more stringent on who can be a paid modder. So here's the thing. To sign up to become a paid modder, you have to show Bethesda a portfolio of like what your work is, and I think you can also have I believe like free mods. Like if you go the route of kind of doing free mods and then your mods get enough of views, paid mods, you can get paid mods then. That's cool, you know, they're allowing pretty much everybody, you know, anybody who has kind of a decent level of skill to get the job done. Now, this Touge guy, I don't know his work. If you click on other stuff, he only made the Revolver. So I don't know if he's done stuff in previous games or maybe his portfolio kind of wowed Bethesda. But I can tell you that while the gun may look awesome, the issues with the mod is something that I haven't even seen myself, and I've reviewed dozens, if not hundreds of mods. So let's jump into the game real quick and I'll show you some of the issues. Alright, so we're in the game now, and here's where like things start to get a little bit funky for me, and it was kind of like kind of tripping off my thing. So if we try to find the ID of it, we type in help Revolver for weapon, you'll see there we have the Raijin Heavy Revolver, the unique Black Sheep, the unique Constellation, the unique Newton. Now, when you type in the console command, you can get all of them. But sometimes when you type in, I'm going to see if I can get it to work here. Yeah, so sometimes when you enter the console command for the base version, see the Raijin Heavy Revolver, you are greeted with this, which it's just called the unique Black Sheep. Now, this is supposed to, I'm assuming, be this weapon here, which is an actual unique variant called the Black Sheep. But the mod author must have initially been intending to, like, when they were kind of setting it up, they must have initially made the Black Sheep and somehow got the console command code for it wrong. Now, it doesn't always give you the Black Sheep. Sometimes it'll give you, like, just a random, like, if we do it again... See, we have one here. Sometimes it'll give you a modified, wrong one. Sometimes it'll just give you, like, an actual weapon, as you can see. But the fact that that's kind of, like, that's the first thing where it kind of, like, makes, like, okay. So the mod author, like, clearly they've, like, forgot to remove that from the game, which I don't know how that would affect like the weapons. Like I'm assuming there's probably like a script where vendors, you know, have a chance of spawning the actual weapon, which there we go. Which means that there's a chance that you could find this version in the vendor, which I mean, yeah, you could say, look, it's a bit of an oversight, but for a paid mod, it's kind of a weird one. Now, this is where it kind of gets a little bit more annoying. So, in game, you've got the penetrator rounds, which are their only specific weapons have access to penetrator rounds. This mod gives them to everything. Every single gun in the game gets penetrator rounds. So if we look at the tombstone, which gets penetrator rounds by default, you see here. However, it also has a second variant of penetrator rounds, which make the magazine invisible. That's very strange. If we look at this calibrated AA9, does that have penetrator rounds? Oh, it does, but it's not supposed to have penetrator rounds. But yeah, it basically gives every gun in the game penetrator rounds and removes the mag. Now, it also gives it to energy weapons, which is a weird one, like penetrator rounds. I have no mag. Very weird. Doesn't give it to that one. That'd be pretty funny if it gave it to that. Now, does it? Yeah, see it? The other thing that I've seen people mentioning is that it removes the explosive rounds that you normally would get. I don't know what the mod author necessarily did to cause that, but it's a pretty big oversight. Now, here's the thing. I didn't catch it when I did the review, and realistically, Bethesda probably wouldn't have caught it either when they're doing their QA. Because generally you're thinking, okay, this modder knows what they're doing, clearly they're talented, you know, we've seen their portfolio. Let's just check to make sure the gun works, and for all intents and purposes, the gun works, and it looks really, really cool. Like, you've got the different versions, looks really cool, but when you start to actually play with it, like, the thing is you can, once you enable this mod, like, save's gone, it's busted. Even if you uninstall the mod, that save now, every gun will have penetrator rounds, and I'm pretty sure explosive rounds don't exist. I'm just going to really quickly double check what guns have explosive, and we're going to check real quick. Alright, so I just went and checked, and actually in this situation, the AA-19, the weapon, it's actually, or the ammo, the explosive rounds there. We're going to see if they function, because this can get explosive rounds. So I've basically heard that, like I said, I've heard people say that it kind of messes with explosive rounds. I just want to see if that's the case. Okay, so the explosive rounds seem to work fine, which isn't too bad, I suppose. But regardless of that, it's a pretty big issue when you think about it. Like, the mod author effectively put out a gun, weapon mod, and has, like, made a sizable, I'd say they made a decent amount of money from it. Like, if we look, I'm just tapping out briefly, sorry. So it's been bookmarked almost 5,500 times on Xbox and 2,000 times on PC. That means we'll say just about 7,000 to 8,000 people are interested in buying it, right? If only even like 1,000 of those people buy it, that's easily $3,000 has been made on that. Now, obviously, Bethesda take a cut. I'm assuming it might be 30%. So let's say, like, guy makes minimum of $1,000, right? Probably more. Now, he's just dipped. I would assume most mod authors, when you kind of make a mod and stuff, like, and I've talked to a lot of mod authors, so I'm assuming this is, you know, this is kind of the general kind of ideology behind it. You know, you test it, you know, you bug test, you want your mod, especially with the paid mod, you want it to, you know, function and be good, no issue. And then when it does come out, like, you're trying to make sure everyone's having good issues or no issues with it, stuff like that. This mod author clearly has no intention of kind of checking to make sure things are okay. Now, look, I'm not gonna go in deep and be like, oh, you know, dude ran off with the money, because we don't know. Like, he might have issues, he might have stepped away from modding, you know, anything could have happened. But it kind of goes back to this whole thing of, like, when it comes to paid mods and, like, Bethesda's requirement for what's you know, to being a verified creator. right? Like we've covered a lot of paid mods on this channel, and there's been, most of them been quite good. There have been a few that have been a bit, you know, questionable, and some have downright broke the game. Now this is on the kind of the level of this is going to kind of break your game. Now for a lot of people you probably won't care, but what makes it scary for me is the fact that this weapon mod has affected other weapons, and seemingly the mod author themselves wasn't aware, which it's like, if you're not aware, then how good of a modder even are you? Like I've been told that like by mod author to have said that the new CK is a little bit different, and sometimes like it can like add extra stuff and you have to be very vigilant, but like once you kind of understand it, it's pretty easy to catch. Now it could have been a case with this modder, which is fine, you know, maybe he didn't see it, but the fact that it's been like almost 6 months and nothing, like people are still having issues with this mod, and it's very questionable. Like, to be honest, like I'm kind of half using this as like a kind of making this video to basically be like, you know, be aware of this, you know, mod. Because I will say, if you have purchased this mod, I would, regardless of whether you're okay or not with it kind of semi-fucking with your game, I would recommend you go and you hit up Bethesda support and you say, yo, Bethesda, I bought this gun a while ago. It had some issues with it kind of, you know, messing with other stuff. Was hoping the mod author would fix it, but it's been months and they haven't. Can I please have a refund? I'm sure they would have no issue giving you a refund. But it's also kind of, again, to kind of speak directly to Bethesda, or like, you know, just kind of not speak directly to them. I don't have like a line to Todd Howard, which would be amazing. To be honest, I'd be like, Todd, where's the ship parts? But I know that they have like they have this whole kind of profile of like, oh, we're going to, you know, you have to prove to us you're pretty good, so you have to show like a portfolio and stuff, which is perfectly fine. But I feel like they need to kind of tighten the requirements a little bit, because what you're seeing with some things, and look, I don't want to have to say it because I always try and stay away from the idea of cash grabs necessarily, because I used to think naively that like very few modders would actually go out of their way to try and cash grab. But to be honest, this just seems like another cash grab. Like, regardless of the kind of the issues, the fact that the mod author hasn't even like updated it since, like, this came out, yeah, so it came out on the 21st of September, and it was updated on the 1st of October. Now that update was when I think it actually went live. Since then there's been nothing. Like, if you were, you know, like if you made a weapon mod or made a mod, and you're like a mod that you're, regardless of if it's a mod that you make money off, like surely you'd want to check in periodically. Like, I know that the creation tab and like doesn't have like a, you know, it doesn't have a comment section, so it can be quite tricky. But like, if you're a mod author and you're ever wondering, you know, like if you put out a creation, just search it. Like, you're gonna probably find like a video or two, probably a lot more, and then look in the comments. Like, I know my comments in my videos is always great because I always ask people, let me know what you think of the mod if you have any issues. And anytime they have issues, I will either hit up the mod author directly, be like, yo, have you seen this issue, if I can contact them, or I will like tell other people like, oh, make sure to, you know, comment, in the hopes that the mod author will see it. So there's also Reddit is another example. If you type it in, you'll find a Reddit thread on it. So the fact that the mod author kind of hasn't done that, again, maybe they're, you know, maybe they've stepped out of modding, which it's like fair enough, but it's not a good look on Bethesda, and it just kind of goes back to the whole like mods as cash grabs. Like, I recently was I did a kind of a post talking about getting some insight from both mod authors and just mod users in my Discord, Starfield Anonymous, pull the Discord, basically like asking their opinion on kind of a paid mod. Because one of the things I've started to notice, and I'm trying to like dance around this, because I don't want to directly throw any shade, but at the same time I want to get the point across without like being misunderstood. There's there's a couple of paid mods I've seen out there where a user is, or a modder is basically relying on either assets, 3D assets that are free, for instance, or they're using like some sort of cheap service, like when it comes to like voice acting and stuff. And look, here's the thing. If you make an awesome mod, for instance, like let's say for instance you make like a really cool quest mod or a really cool ship mod, and one of the people is using like a kind of a you go to Fiverr for a voice actor. You need like a voice actor, quick lines, like fair enough. But if you're the sort of person where you go on like some sort of 3D software and you really quickly buy, you buy like trying to adjust my mic a little bit, sorry. You go on some like one of those like 3D sites that sell all the different 3D files, and you like buy a super cheap file and you just implement it into the game as a kind of a paid mod without any, like bare minimum work. It's cash grab. It is a cash grab. Like, people may disagree, which is like fine. Like ultimately, like that's your opinion, and like we will disagree on things. Like I personally think paid ship mods are a cash grab because like what the fuck. But I just I feel like there should be stricter requirements from the verified creators and even the paid mods. Like even if there was like a tiering system to creators where in order for somebody like to, let's say, in order for somebody to do pay or be a verified creator, they had to kind of make it so that like at least a third of their work is free mods. And like they should, at the very least, regardless of who they are, they should be expected to make at least like 2 or 3 free mods before being allowed to apply and becoming like a paid, like a verified creator, so they can make paid mods. Like I've seen them, they've been coming out of the woodwork, like these mods that it's purely just paid mods. That's all it is. It's a creator comes out of nowhere, makes a paid mod, like this mod author. And there's talented modders out there. Like I'm not gonna say like people that come out like come to the game. Like I've always admitted, I'm sorry, I'm walking around but I'm rambling. I'm usually sat behind a desk. Let me find a chair. Like usually the mod authors might have been experienced in Fallout or experienced in Skyrim or something like that, which is like completely fair. Like I get it, but it just makes me think that a lot of thanks Cora, that a lot of people, like not a lot of people, that there's some people that are just Cora, what the fuck are you doing? That there's some people out there that are just going to abuse the VC system, like someone who is, let's say, like they're a semi-talented like animator or modeler that can rip a model real quick, throw it up, and not even think about it. See, this is where the argument of like lore friendly like paid mods and stuff, I personally think all paid mods should be, you should be able to kind of look at it through like a kind of a lens and be like, okay, like can that, like does that look like something that would exist in the in-game universe, and in a lot of cases you can see and be like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Like like a mod that adds like a house, yeah, cool. A mod that adds like a cool like a laser weapon or like a Starfield, cool. But it's like a mod that just adds like an M16 in that's been like ripped from something else, or a mod, like I'm talking about paid mods specifically now, or like a paid mod that like turns the rover into like a Pontiac Firebird, unless there's a really cool quest behind it, then fair enough. It's just it just kind of opens up this kind of thing of like of the paid mod being kind of used by creators to make a quick buck. And it's just it's always going to be a difficult subject to talk about because there's so many nuances around it and every circumstance is different. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I know a long rant thing again, but bottom line is don't use the pistol, don't buy the pistol. If you're using the pistol, get a refund. If anyone knows the mod author or knows how to get in contact with them, let them know that it's an awesome gun. Come back and fucking patch it, please, so it actually functions. If not, like, I hope Bethesda will kind of take action, because a paid mod that will effectively foobar your save by adding extra perks to guns and stuff and making certain things invisible. That's not a good, good look. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I would like to use this video as also a way to kind of talk, or get your guys' opinion on the kind of the paid mods. I know we talked about it before, but what is your opinion when it comes to, because we talked about the paid mods, but where would you kind of draw the line on what you kind of don't want to see? Like, do you care if paid mods are lore friendly? Do you not care if they're lore friendly? Do you mind if like a paid mod uses like assets from like other games or other franchises as long as they're licensed? Would you rather the assets all be custom made to fit in universe? Things like that. Just let me know what you think. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This has been me. Oh god, why did I say that? That's so out of... It's been your boy, Crimson Flyboy. I'll catch you next time. Starside, I don't know, yeah. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and let me know what you think. Bye-bye.